We are going to work through practice A for these last two lessons. So it's lesson 6-1. We're going to do all the problems, and lesson 6-2, we're going to do all these problems. Ideally, I would like for you to do these on a separate sheet of paper, but we're going to make it work so that it's on this single sheet of paper. So I'm going to flip the screen, and let's work through these together here. This is from the Wednesday's lesson. I'm going to go ahead and write my name. My name is answer key. And let's go ahead and get started on this. It says graph. That means we're going to use a number line. Graph the number that represents the situation. So we're going to graph it. You lose $5. Now that is a -5. That's your answer. Oh, by the way, today is the 24th. So that's your answer, but it says to graph it on a number line. So I want us to go ahead and use this quick graph. Just draw a line with two arrowheads. Right in the middle, put the -5, and we're going to graph that point there. If you want to put a -6 and a -4, that is nice also. You download 7 songs. That is going to be down sounds like negative, but it's actually you are getting the 7 songs. So you get 7 songs. That's going to be a +7. So I'm going to put my 7 right there in the middle, and that is the point right there. You can put that 6 and that 8 on there. The wind chill is 35 degrees below 0, so that's going to be a -35. I'm going to move my graph over here just so that I can see a little bit better. So there's my -35, -36, -34, but it's that point right there in the middle. So these are all just quick graphs. I like to just make, either one point in the middle or a few points. Now this one, it just says write a positive or negative integer. So we're just writing the number for these. So a parachutist descends. That means we're going down. We're going down 50. All right, you could label that 50 feet. A baker discards. That means they get rid of. So they have fewer. Number 6, they are advancing. That means it's moving forward. That's a +10. And then number 7, you earn $15. So that's also going to be positive. On these, I'm going to go ahead and do my quick graph. We're just graphing the integer. Oh, and its opposite. Don't forget that. So I'm actually going to need 2 points here. Let's do this. So for these, I'm going to make a line. I'm going to put 0, 5, and -5. All right. Over here, I'm going to put 0, -2, and +2. For here, I'm going to put 0, 13, and -13. So what I'm doing is I'm just centering this thing up, putting the 0 in the middle, and then I'm putting the point. There's 5, there's -2, and then there's 13, and then they also want to have the opposite. So there's our opposite, which is -5. There's our opposite, which is 2, and there's our opposite, which is -13. See how that works? Again, let's just do a quick graph. I'm going to put 0 in the middle, 20 and -20, 0, -18, and +18. And then our last one here, 0, -25, and +25. Remember the opposite, it's the same distance from 0. So I don't want to go through here and make 25 little marks. That would be a lot. So there's my number that I'm graphing, the 20, and then the opposite is 20, -20. -18, and the opposite is 18. -25, and then the opposite is +25. So in 14, they're saying describe and correct the error. So they're saying the opposite of 7 is is 1/7. So no, the opposite of 7 is negative 7. Okay, so that's the opposite. What they did was they did the reciprocal. They wrote, they know how to spell. They wrote the reciprocal. All right. Identify the integer. Identify the integer represented by the point on the number line. So point A is over here, and we're just going to identify point A, and that is negative 10. All right. B is, well, it's 15, there's 20, so it's got to be 17. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and box these in so it's a little bit easier to see. C, speaking of, 5, it's between 5 and 10, so that's going to be 8. And then number 18, D is down here. It is between 15 and 20, 15, 16, 17, so negative 17. All right, number 19. To ride an amusement park ride, your height must be at or above the line for the sign. For each set of information, write an integer. You can write an integer that represents a person's height relative to the line. So the line is going to be the 0, and then their height is going to be how far or above that. The line is 0. The height is going to be above or below that. So you're going to write yes or no as to whether they can ride the ride or not. So A, it says 2 inches above. So it's going to be a positive 2. So the answer is yes, it is above the line. Yes, they can ride the ride. If it's 5 inches below, that's going to be, it's not their negative height, it's just they're shorter than the cutoff line. So number 19, letter B, no, they may not. They may not. And even this one, 1 inch below, that's so close. So close, but no, you may not ride the ride. Bummer for you. But next year you'll be taller. So we've just finished side A. Well, side 1, which is 6-1. Now we're going to work on 6-2. So again, just follow along with me. We have, oh, don't forget your name. But I wrote it on the other side. Well, it doesn't take that long. All right. Copy and complete the sentence using less than or greater than. So which one is bigger? So on a number line, the negatives are to the left of the 0. So I'm just going to go ahead and put my answer over top of the question marks. So for number 1, negative 4 is less than. This one is bigger than, it's further to the right on the number line, so 7 is greater than 0. All positive numbers are bigger than negative numbers, so those are greater than. Let's see, negative, this one's bigger, so it's going to be negative 6 is less than 2. Okay, this one, I know that 9 is further to the right, so it is greater than. So 5 is less than 9. And then negative 8 is further to the left, so it is less than negative 2. It looks funny because that's a bigger absolute value, it's a bigger distance, but it's further to the left. All right, number 7. They made a mistake. Describe and correct the error in this problem. So they wrote 2 is less than 5, so 2 is less than negative 5. What? What are you talking about? A 2 is further to the right, so the 2 is bigger than the negative 5. Describe and correct the error. They said 2 is smaller than negative 5. But let's just do this. if I graph these, I've got a -5, a +5. I'm going to put my 0 in the middle there, and then I've got this 2. 1, 2. So just looking at it this way, I'm going to go and put my -2 over here. Both -2 and 2 and 0, those are all less than to the left of 5, and they are all greater than or to the right of -5. So you could actually think of it like this. That number is less than these, and these numbers are less than the 5. You don't have to do it that way, but I'm just describing what's going on. Number 8, we're ordering these from least to greatest. And I'm just going to write them over here to the right. So the smallest is the -3, and I like to cross them out as I do them. Next we have -2. I'm going to put a comma between these. Then we have 0, 2, and 3. Alright. For number 9, the smallest is -4, and then -3. We have a 1, a 2, and a 4. Number 10, -5 is the smallest, and then -4. It looks like 3 is next, and then 4, and then 5. Over here we've got -5 is the smallest, -3, 1 is next, 4, and then 6. And I just now looked up here to make sure I am ordering those from least to greatest. Sometimes they'll try to trick you and put in greatest to least. So if they had done that, I would have missed every single one of those problems. So number 12, a water pipe is 3 feet below the ground. The gas pipe is 8 feet. I'm going to go ahead and write that over here. So here's my, it's a number line. We've got a -3, and we have a -8, because this one is further down. So that is the gas pipe. And I'm going to write feet. These are feet. What was the water? This is the water pipe. So when you draw it, it makes it a little bit easier to read. So if I kept going up on my graph, then my 0 would be the ground line. So that would be 0. And all this is the dirt underneath. Here's my dirt. Alright. Let's see. Okay, so a water pipe is 3 feet below the ground, and the gas pipe is 8 feet below. Which pipe is higher? The water pipe is higher. It is, I'm going to put a colon here, it is closer to the surface, the ground level. Okay, number 13, a number between -1 and -5. I'm going to go ahead and just draw my number line, and I'm going to put a -1 and a -5. That way I can see what's in here. It says, what is the smallest possible integer between these? So the smallest number between these is going to be like -4 point something, because 4.9 with a bar on it, because it's going to be really super close. But integers are there's no decimal, so it has to be a -4. The least possible is the -4. Oh, what is the least possible integer value of its opposite? -1. What is the least possible value of its opposite? Oh, and goodness, I did not read that. So this would be the least possible between the two, but now we're looking at the opposites. Well, daggone it. Let me redo this one. I'm going to do this one at the bottom, 13. Alright, so let me redo this. I'm going to put my 0 here. Mr. Miller, slow down. -1 and -5. and that means a positive 1 and a positive 5. So now if we look up here, least possible of its opposite, the opposites are these two numbers right here. So the smallest integer has to be a positive 2. Man, that is a trick question. So number 13 is not negative 4, it's negative 2. I'm sorry, positive 2. That one was a tricky one. Daggone you, number 13. That is unlucky. Tell whether this is always true, sometimes true, or never true. 14. A negative number is greater than its opposite. A negative number, well, that can't be true. It is never. An integer is more than its opposite and less than 0. An integer is more than its opposite and less than 0. Well, that can't be, because sometimes the opposite is going to make it positive. So if I had a negative 2, I'm sorry, if I had a positive 2, the opposite would be negative 2. That's less than 0. But if I have a negative 2, the opposite is a positive 2, which is not. So an integer is more than its opposite. It's more than its opposite. And oh, it actually can't be either one of those. That's never the case. But number 16, an integer is less than its opposite. That is sometimes true. That is sometimes true. 9 students chose an integer. 7 of them are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, order these numbers from least to greatest. It looks like they almost are already. 16, negative 13, negative 6, negative 5, 1, 6, and 12. Alright, so we got that. When all 9 integers are ordered from least to greatest, the middle number is negative 6. Describe the 2 other integers. If this is the middle number, we have 4 numbers on this side, so we need 2 numbers less than negative 6. Okay, so the other 2 numbers have to be less than negative 6, so I've answered that one. And I think that is it. So we have completed side 1 and side 2. Let me know if you have any questions, and good work today. Hope you have an awesome rest of your day.